know, some of us have had a long day. I know the manager was on the train with us when we left to go up there at 10:30 this morning. Those of you who could make it, hope you enjoyed yourself. Those of you who could make it, appreciate we had a good attendance at the reception tonight. Wick Moorman is actually entertaining all of the Amtrak board tonight, including the president of the board and the executive director of the board, Joe Boardman, who are all on the train. And very excited about the new Norfolk train, as they continue to call it. Everybody calls it the Norfolk train. It's the Southampton Roads train, but who's complaining, right? I mean, so that's
Take that, Virginia Beach.
you know. So it's the Norfolk train. I mean, even at Amtrak in Petersburg, when they were talking about it, at Ettrick rather. Is that where you went to school?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful school. I was stunned. I mean, I was, Mr. Vice Mayor. I mean, really. I mean, it was beautiful riding by. They got great facilities. They must have improved them.
Huh?
I mean, they obviously look. Some of them look new.
Well, some of we've expanded over where the train station
I
is.
got to do this, didn't
Okay.
you?
So anyway,
This is perfect.
this has been an historic day for the city. Tomorrow morning is going to be a crowd everybody trying to get on that train. I'm told since we bullied the manager into taking out an ad in the paper. Right after the ad came out, they sold 900 tickets within a matter of hours. So all people need to know is a little bit about the prices and where they're going. I mean, the ad really set it out nicely, and so they're selling more tickets now as the word gets out. So anyway, why don't we get going here? We got about 40 minutes now. So,
Mayor and Council, there are just two things I'd like to bring to your attention before I turn it over quickly to Ron Williams about something I think is extremely exciting. We talked about rapid implementation, and he's going to take about 3 minutes to explain to you something that will be occurring in January that's a pickup of a recent council meeting. There are two ordinances that you'll be voting on tonight that, again, I want to bring to your attention. One is the carry forward for Norfolk Public Schools. There was a meeting with the council and the school board, and this is basically a surplus from the previous fiscal year ending June 30, 2012, in which about $3.3 million of funds are going to be carried over into the FY13 budget. So that's one of the ordinances that you have tonight. The other one is the calendar. It's something that you vote on each December. It was interesting, Dr. Willie did bring up a couple of points, and I believe Winter gave you a cover letter and a memo on Friday, which basically says this process of having a work session on the first Tuesday of the month, and then a informal meeting and a formal meeting on the second and fourth, for the most part, doesn't pan out each month over a 12-month period. So what we've attempted to do is, based on holidays and based on different events that council typically attend, like let's say the National League of Cities, we made sure that we didn't have council meetings on those particular Tuesdays. For the most part, you need basically 36 a year. 38 are built into this. When I say 36, based on the ones that you cancel the meetings. So you have a calendar in front of you to vote on tonight. It's based on input from the clerk's office, which you've traditionally done in terms of meetings and cancellation. So I wanted to bring those two to your attention. And then very quickly, there were a lot of great comments today about Amtrak. And I really appreciate what you said, Mayor, about me and the staff. I would like to just say something about the staff for 30 seconds. Ron Williams and John Kiefer and Paul Fillion in terms of just the operations and the preparation, Brian Pennington in terms of the intergovernmental connections, and Lori and Courtney, Alan Bull and Sarah Parker with the events after we got here, and of course the police and parking. So it's been pretty much a seamless day, but I just wanted to take a second to thank the staff that made it all possible.
thank you, Marcus. It's been a singular day for us, and it's worked very early in the morning and all the way through to right now.
I would say we were in Ashland and Henrico County, and the whole gist of it was Norfolk. They cut the ribbon, and at every station, they talked about how excited they were that the train will be going to Norfolk, and that Norfolk is a part of the line now. So it was great to see how other cities embraced us as a municipality. So I thought that was great.
Okay, Marcus, with the $3.3 million carryover, just so we know, I mean, how much additional funds, or do you know, the school system had over and above what their last year's budget was? This year's budget, how much is approved?
Sure. If you just go back to the FY12 approved budget, and you compare that to the FY13 approved budget with, using this carry forward also, it's almost 15 million. It's about $14.8 million in additional revenue from FY12, but that includes federal funds, state funds, local contributions. So all in on the operating
Additional
side.
sales tax, what they get straight
Yes,
from the
sir.
state, all that stuff.
Yes, sir.
You said 15 million?
It's about 14.8.
Okay. So
And
when
it's in
I,
your memo.
right, but when I've discussed this with some school board members, and a few others, they dispute that it's 15 million. And I believe in our joint meeting with them that they explained it a little bit differently than how your budget office explained it. And I've talked to you about this as well. And I'm worried that there's this misconception that that they have all this extra money when some of this was reserve money that was carried over. And so it's money that was there. And I think that was shared with me as well. But the budget presentation that I saw that was sent to me that the school board made, it was only showing about the 3.6 that you see in there. So are you including the additional funds that we added in
Sure.
with that as well?
Sure, it's everything. You start with an approved budget. It's pretty easy. You start with an approved budget for 12. You start with an approved budget for 13. And it's about 12 million more.
But it's not
And then
12 million more in tax revenue that has come into our district and additional money that they can spend on other projects or things that were cut. Because some of that money was already budgeted in last year's budget. So it's being lumped in with that. Really, it's the 3.6 million that's extra in taxes.
No. Okay, so there's they get additional money from the state. They got additional money from the state. They received additional money from the city. That additional money doesn't mean that there was enough to take care of all of the cost increases, whether it's health care or salary. So from that perspective, clearly it's not this big cash infusion. Sometimes the additional money from the state wasn't enough to cover the cost, the ongoing cost, but just in a sheer dollar volume, you take the FY12 budget versus the FY13 budget. Some of it is carried forwards, some of it is not spending money on buses, but just from, in the city picking that up, but just from a comparison of one fiscal year to the next fiscal year, when you add this additional 3.3, it's well over $14 million of additional funds. That doesn't mean that it's money with no strings attached to it.
Right. I just have concerns that it gives the appearance that they have extra money, that much extra money. Because when you say 15 million, it makes it sound like there's all this money lying around now that they can use on things, and that is not what I'm hearing from the school board. And this goes back to the constant communication that we need to have with the school board. And Dr. Whibley and I will bring up a proposal later, with working with the school board. But I think instead of having that 1 hour type meeting with them where we get a presentation, that we need to have a deeper discussion with them. And I think that's part of some of this miscommunication or that's happening with this. And I did have a concern about the calendar, and it's just a small one. I know we don't have times on here, but anytime we miss a second meeting of the month, a Tuesday, and then we have a third meeting, we tend to schedule that as a work session, and we do a 2 o'clock meeting, but the meeting would have been a 5 o'clock meeting and at 7 o'clock. So I'm just asking, because we had discussed, over a year ago about moving more of our meetings to the evening, but it seems like lately when we reschedule these, that they are becoming 2 o'clock meetings, and they're not, they're more of just joint meetings with committees and things. And, if we're gonna be down here, let's make it a productive meeting. and make it longer, or if we have items on the agenda, like tonight, we have a pretty packed agenda. But we've been having a lot of 2 o'clock meetings lately, and I think out of courtesy to the citizens, it would be nice to have some more evening meetings on there. So if we do have to do that, those meetings should be more in the evening. I don't know if anybody else agrees with me, but just.
Well, I like the concept of,
people.
I like the concept of having work sessions and not, and I think that's what we initially were attempting to do, cutting down on the formal
Right.
ones. And I personally would rather, if we're here, I'd rather have a vigorous agenda, for the formal meetings as opposed to, because in the past we've had some pretty short formal meetings, and it seems kind of silly to join everybody here. I like having the work sessions. But
They're productive.
But I don't mind if you want to do a work session at 5 if that works better for your schedule.
Well, it's not just my schedule. I just think that I thought we had decided that we would hold more evening meetings, and when we've had a series of work sessions at 2, but not meetings with agenda on them, then we're not getting the citizens as involved when we go back to the 2 o'clock meetings.
I think the citizens
They're just work sessions.
I think that the citizens are involved when we have 2 o'clock, meetings, when we have 7 o'clock meetings. We don't get a whole lot of extra citizens in the galley anyway. I mean, a lot of people stream online, they watch it on television. I think that goes a great deal into getting people involved so that they know what's going on, and if they have an issue about something, they can email us or they can, text us or whatever the case may be. But I don't think that we get a whole lot of extra people at night. I mean, we get people, but I don't think we get a whole lot of extra.
That's not what I'm saying.
Is it your point that we should have at least 2 night meetings?
Right. There's been, recently, we've been having just work session meetings and we've been kind of, like tonight's agenda is, we're kind of crammed in. And if we do have to do that where we have to take out a 2nd or 4th meeting, then if we make up that meeting, it should be made up as a formal agenda that cut back on the amount of items that are on there. I wasn't saying, this is a lot of things on the agenda tonight.
Well, let's go ahead and vote on this, and then if we have to.
Yeah, you're right.
To help you out, the Ron's presentation is about 4 minutes, and Frank's is about 3. So it's a very fast agenda tonight. And if you'd like us to just get started.
But are we okay to at least vote on it tonight? We can modify it at any time.
The calendar?
It doesn't have times on it.
Yes.
Because they just updated and sent us the time. So didn't they hand this out
Yeah.
in written form? Or
Yeah.
Has it changed since then?
No, sir. I
Went
think
through
you
my
received
whole
this in
notes here. Put 'em on there.
October. So we gave it to you 12 months,
Right.
actual calendar with the dates
This
and
is the same,
times.
but
So
I have
this-
to go check it out.
So we gave it to you October, we gave it to you November, so we just gave you the short version today.
Right, he
Yeah.
handed out the hard copy to everybody.
Right.
I don't have problems with the dates. I was just asking about more formal meetings
I'm-
and spreading
I'm
the
very
agenda out
flexible.
instead of cramming it all in. We could have done some of this last week if we had an evening meeting.
I'm totally flexible. We easy to get along with us old guys. Us old guys over here, easy.
Speak for yourself. Mayor, members of council, as city manager said, follow up to what we did about a month ago, talking about rapid implementation. What we want to do is just introduce you this evening a group that we're going to engage with, Team Better Block, who works with cities, developers, and stakeholders to create quick and inexpensive, high-impact changes that can improve and revitalize underused properties and highlight the potential for creating great, complete streets. This team of Jason Roberts, and Andrew Howard, Jason with a technology communications background, Andrew Howard is a certified planner. They've been highlighted in many publications and on NPR. They've received an award from the American Society of Landscape Architects and the White House as a champion of change. They're coming, and I would just like to show a quick highlight video to give you some flavor for what type of work they do.
What we do with the Better Block is we take a block like this, and over a day or
Okay.
It was working earlier.
buffing.
I saw it. They tried it out earlier.
Okay.
two will come in and we'll retrofit this space. We're going to bring out trees, we're going to bring out landscaping, we're going to develop pop-up businesses in these.
Rewind it.
Vacant spaces. We're going to, a day or two will come in. What we do with the Better Block is we take a block like this, and over a day or two, we'll come in and we'll retrofit this space. We're going to bring out trees, we're going to bring out landscaping, we're going to develop pop-up businesses in these vacant spaces. We're going to have coffee shops, flower shops, outdoor seating. We're building a rain garden that's going to help filter the water that comes into the area, and it makes it cleaner when it gets into the river. For San Antonio, it's great because you guys have an amazing downtown here, and this is a chance for us to show how on some of the edges of the downtown where there's not as much activity as you have in the center, to be pushed out, and how you can reactivate this area. Better blocks are important for communities. It's a different way to engage a community in repairing a neighborhood. Before this was, there would be a series of town halls that would take place, and you'd meet with community and we'd talk about ideas, and these ideas would go back to a drawing board, and by the time they got filtered through a lot of different layers, it took years for something to actually hit the ground. So this is a way that a community can, within days, make a change and show how they can help take ownership of the space. So it really, what we found is the benefit, even though it's a demonstration process, the benefits last for months or years after this. On many of our Better Block projects, you'll see the buildings start getting leased within months. You'll start seeing more businesses come back to the area, and it helps the city demonstrate how they can make a difference quickly. Because sometimes some of these ideas and concepts that we put out here are abstract to folks until you actually build it, and they can touch it, they can feel it, and they can experience it.
Better Block was bred out of the idea of doing rapid urban revitalization. So using some of the community resources, rehab old buildings, and show how multimodal transportation can make neighborhoods whole. This is part of the City of San Antonio's Complete Streets initiative. City Council recently passed an ordinance that said that all streets are now going to be looked at for multimodal transportation. That means bike lanes, streetcars, better pedestrian access. So we're going to show that. Instead of drawing a pretty picture, we're actually going to build it with the community, and you get to experience it for a day. The response has been in other cities that we see them rapidly going to make it permanent. So we'd love to see that here as well, that we get bike lanes on Jones, that we have new ways of putting the parking to make it safer, that we have transit stops that are more friendly. We also want to see a different approach to some of the revitalization of older buildings, that those can become adaptive and they can respond to what the community wants.
So this is a highlight of the San Antonio project. What they're coming to do in January is actually conduct a survey to see if a Better Block demonstration project could be conducted. They'll look at public and private spaces, the quality of the spaces, the potential for rapid redevelopment potential. They're going to give us a detailed analysis of community assets, potential stakeholders, and quick win opportunities that allow for a launch pad for a potential demonstration. And then it'll identify any materials and resources that can best be utilized in that community. We're recommending that a survey, as part of this agreement to do this survey, we're recommending 4 areas that they look at. 3 of which are strategic economic development areas that are in our draft plan 2030, 35th Street Commercial Corridor, the Northview 5 Points area, and the downtown Ocean View District up here at the end of Granby Street, and then also our proposed Arts Revitalization District.
So hopefully the concept last time was rapid implementation. There's some things that will be longer to analyze and review, but we believe that this is, based on the council's direction, this is the right way to go.
Good.
Okay, good.
You had some
Frank,
chickens
let's
running
switch
around.
it.
Chickens in Better Blocks.
So Ocean View has the downtown division of mayor.
How about cats? Feral cats?
Gonna try to do this very quickly.
They laugh, Terry. They laugh, Terry, but they will unleash letters.
This is a rezoning item that the planning commission heard in November, for which we had a negative vote. So based on your direction, we did need to brief you on this so we could get this moved.
It got how many negative votes?
One.
One.
Yes.
Did we really say we wanted every?
You said anything where staff is recommending denial or where you had a negative vote, You wanted a presentation before you would
One
schedule
negative
it.
vote out of 7.
Dr. Newman was the negative vote.
Wow, one of the newbies.
Yes, I'll go through this
Change
really
that to at least
quickly.
2 negative votes.
You probably remember this because you did the rezoning for the Green Again at this location. It's a 1.5 acre location between Monticello and Granby, 17th and 18th, about a year ago. Before that, it was a series of commercial uses that are all in the process of going away. It is designated for multifamily uses both in the current general plan and the proposed general plan. Currently, it is approved for 130 dwelling units with 1.6 parking spaces per unit, which was consistent with ITA standards at the time this was approved. What they're now proposing is a brand new design, and this is because the cost of the original design didn't work. They're looking to increase the number of units to 164 units, but they're also going to increase their parking ratio from 1.6 parking spaces per unit to 1.63, which is still consistent with ITA standards, and they have committed to a series of amenities that weren't included in their original proposal. This is the design that is currently approved, so that at the street level, what you were seeing is parking. This was a plaza inside. This is also part of what was previously approved, and one of the challenges you've got is with this configuration, this courtyard area is in constant shade, which becomes an issue. So what they have proposed is a new development scheme that will be part of the downtown development certificate that will be coming back to you. This has been reviewed and recommended for approval by both the Design Review Committee and the Planning Commission. This is the floor plan, so what you're getting is a less narrow open space. It will not be in constant shadow. They are still going to be providing a swimming pool, and they're going to do underground parking, which has been reviewed by FEMA, and it does meet the flood standards, so we don't have that issue. That's how they're actually adding the additional parking. At the public hearing, the applicant appeared in support, and we have a letter of support from the Ghent Business Association. There was no opposition. Staff recommended approval based on consistency with the general plan, compliance with all ordinance requirements, and its design as a very urban building. The Planning Commission recommended approval on a 6-to-1 vote. The majority supported the staff recommendation, and the minority vote, Dr. Newman, was told before the meeting by a representative of the Ghent Neighborhood League that the ITE parking standards had changed and that the 1.63 parking spaces per unit was inconsistent with the 4th edition of the ITE parking standards. So we got to type it is completely consistent with the ITE parking standards. And for that reason, we continue to recommend approval.
So, no, seriously, is that the most recent?
Everybody was saying this is more.
2010.
That's the most recent.
This is the most recent. It is still consistent. Yes, Frank.
I've been contacted by one of the developers. They're ready to go, and holding him up costs them money. And is there a way we can move this to here at the next meeting, like in January, which is a month from now, rather than having the consent agenda and then moving it ahead?
If that's the direction of council, Rick could go ahead and initiate the advertising, and we could move
They
that.
might have a problem with that. I mean, we voted up or down. I mean, I think it's a great project, but I would try to accommodate somebody to make an investment in the city. Can we schedule it for the next meeting? Thank you.
How many units are there now? I mean, how many?
It's 130 today, and they are asking to go to 164.
164?
Yes.
How many parking spaces altogether in the 164?
Well, I'd have to do the multiplication.
Multiply it by 1.6.
I'm gonna try. Okay. Now how many stories are they going up?
One said it's 5 stories.
They're gonna do stick over steel? Does that mean they're going to stick?
Yeah, they're doing they can still do the stick over steel because of they're doing it above the parking platform.
And you think, everybody thinks 5 stories is okay?
It's either 4 or 5 stories, but the height is fine. The height will be compatible with what's at the Alexander again.
Which is very tall.
But this is going to look more square instead of really long. It's closing that street essentially. It's that issue.
Okay, good.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to give you a quick update on the Ghent Station 21st Street Development Project.
going to move quickly through this and answer any questions that you might have. Just as a refresher, we're talking about a 3.57 acre site there on 21st Street between Holly Avenue and Hampton Boulevard, located across from the Tap House, between the West Animal Clinic and the Wags Daycare, Doggy Daycare. This is the current condition of the property. That photo was taken in October. We began with an RFP on this site issued in March of 2007, and we got 4 respondents. We had selected the Cooper selection, which was a mixed-use commercial development. They were unable to get financing or the tenants lined up for the project. And following that, one of their partners, Empire Development, submitted a letter of intent in 2010 for the development of the site for medical office use. Again, they were unable to secure the tenant nor the financing, and in the spring of 2011 that expired.
Could you tell me what the price was back in 2008? What did Stanton at that point offer for the package then?
I'm not positive of what the Stanton partnership offered.
I'd like to know that.
Sure.
I mean, don't we think that's pertinent?
In terms of looking at it for what, it was clearly not what we were looking to do there, which was all retail.
I thought it was Fresh Market then too.
It was just simply all retail.
Was it Fresh Market?
I am not certain who they had. They were talking with Trader Joe's and Whole Foods and with Fresh Market.
It was Fresh Market?
We did do a 2009 study specific to Fresh Market to try to pursue that, but we felt like the mixed-use development at that time was the way that we could go. But I will find out that offer number for you. That's the history of the Robinson Development Stanton Partnership in here in Norfolk, World Trade Center, 150 Main, Harbor Heights, Town Point Center, Riverside Corporate, Dominion Enterprises, the FBI building, and Portfolio Recovery. That's their experience here in Norfolk. The Ghent Station overview is a $17.5 million total private investment, of which $10.5 million will be coming from Bob Stanton and Chris Sanders as the partnership forming Ghent Station, $7 million in additional FF&E between the gourmet grocery store and the medical office building, split evenly between those two. What we're talking about is a 26,560 square foot, 2-story medical office building, 100% occupied by Bon Secours, and a gourmet grocery store, 19,500 square feet, with speculative grocery retail space adjacent to the supermarket, 3 bays, 4,200 square feet for a total of 50,260 square feet. The uses for the Bon Secours facility will be physical therapy, sports, urgent care, occupational health. You can read those. Basically, estimated jobs are 39 jobs from this particular side of the project, and those average salary levels are about $68,000 a year.
Point be taken, those are not all new jobs, because they're shifting people.
There are some shifting and consolidation of.
I'm not against the jobs. I'm just saying for truth and advertising.
Yes, ma'am, and I think the representatives from Bon Secours are going to speak this evening and give you that particular breakdown and let you know how what it is, an FTE that they are adding, along with the new introduction of physical therapy. The gourmet grocery is estimated to be generating 80 to 90 new jobs, and again, they anticipate spending about $3.5 million in their fixtures and furnishings. You're recommending a sale price of $500,000 and crediting $200,000.
Can you back up for a second?
Yes, sir.
When you said the $3.5 million, is that on top of the $17.5 million?
No, those that $17.5 million is the total investment.
It's the total investment by everybody.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Again, if we were to credit $250,000 toward that demolition expense, our internal estimates on that were $460,000. We would propose that in the LDDC there would be language prohibiting the assignment or the resale of the property for profit within 2 years of the occupancy, or triggering an additional $350,000 payment for those first 2 years. Third year, $275,000, fourth, $200,000, fifth year, $125,000. Keeping in mind that regardless of the ownership, as long as it remains a Bon Secours medical office building and a gourmet grocery store, we will continue to receive the benefits of the estimated $185,000 a year in direct tax revenues out of this project.
So we're gonna sell it to them for $500,000.
Right.
And then credit them $250,000 for demolition.
That's correct.
So basically, we're selling it to them for $250,000.
Yes.
And 3 years ago it was $3 million.
Yeah,
Coopers were going to pay for
Right.
In 2007.
But in your timeline, you left out with your history. Where did Joe Marcel come in at?
Joe Marcel came here to us this year with a
No,
million.
that wasn't. He came in before, because Dr. Whibley was talking with him. He came in before this project was on the table and wanted to do retail, commercial on that particular site.
Plus a fresh market.
Yeah, a fresh market or Trader Joe's. And so that was, you didn't have that in the timeline.
I don't know that there was ever any offer made by Joe Marcel other than for straight retail. Single line along the rail track.
I thought he had a strip center right along the
That's
track.
Right, but on that site.
Right,
It
but I
was,
don't think
but
he
it-
had a fresh market.
No, he did have a fresh market, or he the one that brought fresh market to Virginia Beach.
He had said that he could attract a gourmet grocery store to that location. He planned to do a straight line retail along the railroad track.
I understand that, but he's the same person who brought fresh market to Virginia Beach. Okay? And so there was no reason to believe that he couldn't deliver a fresh market in Ghent.
I would say, Mr. Vice Mayor, that what he may have been able to do and what Bob Stanton and Chris Sanders were definitely able to accomplish was the securing of commitments from both Fresh Market and Bon Secours for
The
the.
only way you can do that is if you have site control.
That's correct.
So they had site control.
They had submitted under that letter of intent that we're presenting here this evening to turn into a contract. Yes, sir.
Because that's the only way that you can, they won't even talk to you unless you have site control. So
Joe Marcel continued to insist that he saw this as a retail-only site and that would be a strip center along the rail line, which we knew not to be consistent with what we were looking to accomplish on this particular site in Ghent.
okay, but that should be a part of the evolution of this, in terms of someone offering $3 million, $1 million, and then getting to this.
Well, in the interest of that, we also had received a letter from Mr. Levin for $2 million with a town center type concept that he was talking about wanting to present as a possibility for the site.
I'm talking about after the fact. I'm just talking about timeline before we got to this point. And that was in 2007 when he offered us $1 million for the site.
I'd have to go back and see whether or not, we don't have any written evidence that Joe had submitted that in 2007.
Well, we were talking with Joe because I was a part of the conversation.
Okay.
Dr. Whibley had some issues as it relates to whether the property abuts the track or whether it sits up or sits back.
Right.
So there was never any question as it relates to whether or not he was ever interested in the site. The mere fact that he offered us $1 million for the site. But if we're going to give a presentation, at least be accurate with the information, how we got from $3 million to $1 million to where we are now.
I will go back and reconfirm that. I know that
We
the
are
only-
voting tonight, right?
Yeah, I just want that.
So if we're
yeah,
getting back to-
I just want the information to be, you know, you had another person who was interested,
Yeah.
whether if we
Yeah,
didn't
but
want it, that's not what we were looking for, that just wasn't what we were looking for.
We did not receive any written offers from Mr. Marcel or anybody else other than Empire Development.
It go back to the demolition.
Yes, sir.
The sale price is $500,000,
Yes, sir.
and we're going to give them $250 towards the demolition.
Correct.
So in essence, they're paying $250,000 for the property.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, and then '09, the Coopers were going to pay $3 million for it.
Correct.
Okay. Well, why would we pay for the demolition? I mean, who struck that deal? I mean, why would we pay for the demolition and let these? I like the project, but when I saw this part of it, you know, kind of gives me a little heartburn. And I'm wondering, is the 250 a deal breaker? Because I don't think they should be able to walk away, you know, with that site for $250,000.
Well, we had done internal estimates that said if we were to take down the building ourselves, that number would be $460,000.
Well, they're getting it for $2.5 million less than somebody offered it in '09.
Yes.
So that should, you know.
Yes, sir. And again, what I would say is that they were unable to secure the tenancies nor the financing.
I'm just talking about the value of the property, not the completion of the deal. A lot of proposals, I guess we got at least 10 that went south, you know, back during the time when we had when the banks weren't lending money.
Sure.
And so, and I'm just looking at the 250, and that just kind of caused me a little heartburn. And I'm just wondering, is it a deal breaker? It seemed like to me they should pay $500 for it and demolish it themselves.
Well, that is not.
We haven't signed anything with them yet, have we?
No, sir. We do not have an LDDC. That's what we're presenting this evening.
Let me ask.
LDBC.
The land disposition and development contract.
Are we voting tonight on the price or to authorize the city manager to negotiate to finalize this deal?
It's on the price and the concept, all of what's been shown to you today is within the agreement, but that we haven't signed it. And so if there were some small changes, the manager is authorized to do anything consistent with what you're approving tonight.
All right, are you finished, and then maybe we can talk after that?
Sure. Basically, again, the $185,000 in direct city revenue is a very conservative estimate based upon what we believe to be a 30% incremental visitation of the site and 13,000 in indirect tax revenues from the employee expenditures. We believe that to be a very, very conservative number. We do believe it does remove a blighting influence and a drag on real estate values in the area, that there are roughly 130 new jobs associated with this particular development. Is there an impact on real estate values? We went back and looked at that. We do believe that this will increase and enhance property values in the area. We sought the opinions of a couple of well-respected appraisers in the commercial real estate industry. We do have letters from them to the effect that the kinds of deals that we're talking about are understood and not used as benchmarks to value other properties, that the additional factors include the economic benefit to the city, that there would be no negative impact on the values in the area, and in fact, the banking community is aware of the incentives when a public entity sells a parcel, and that if the development of the site is of a character and caliber that enhances the quality and appeal of the immediate area, then the properties in the surrounding area should be positively influenced.
The land is appraised at $5 million.
Can I say something?
The land is, excuse me.
You got an independent appraisal. The city did, okay? That land is appraised. You telling me it's not appraised at $5 million?
No, sir, I'm not. I'm just saying the assessed value is what we were looking at when we developed this LDDC proposal, and that was $2.3 million.
So I'm saying the land, you're saying the assessed value?
Yes, sir.
But it's appraised at $5 million.
Well,
including the structure.
The structure that's on it is certainly influencing the appraised value. Currently, that lighting.
An independent. I like the project. We got to stop deriving to this point the way that we derive at it. Okay, this is ridiculous. You know, all I'm saying is that I'm a taxpayer before I'm a council person on this council. You know, and we always sit around this table and talk about we don't have money to do this or we need money to put over here. And so when we develop areas like this, we develop them for a reason.
Sure.
So when we begin to disperse properties like this, that we can get a premium for them. So we can use that money to do other things within the city and stop talking about what we do on the back end for an area that is developed as that particular area is. I believe we do deals all the time. You know, we make a deal happen. I believe at the end of the day that this is a great project. But you know what? I think that if we'd have held the line going into the negotiations here, they'd have still did the project and we would have got a little more up front and we'd have got on the back end for this particular project. That's all I'm saying.
Everybody can have their opinion about this. Let me go with my opinion. Sometimes we sell property for less than it's worth in order to encourage
I
development.
understand that.
Sometimes when we're buying property, we pay too much for it in order to assemble property to make things happen. We may be doing that tonight. in fact.
No, we're not.
Well, okay.
Well, I would
That
say-
might, but I think there's value in what we're doing tonight. Okay.
Paul,
But I-
no,
but-
you
no,
want to
wait,
go
wait.
there, Paul? I mean, seriously.
Wait.
You want to go there?
No, but do you want to go here, Anthony? After I'm going to be honest. As long as we're being honest,
No,
I'm a
well, let's be
taxpayer
honest
too.
about it.
I'm
I
a
like the
taxpayer, too.
project, but I'm just saying.
Okay, well, I'm a taxpayer
I'm not
too.
go-
Okay,
okay.
but let me put it this way: we have from time to time. Sometimes we've actually big pieces of property, made that part of the development agreement. Didn't charge anybody anything. On the Wells Fargo building, for instance, even on MacArthur Center, I go back. I mean, you can name any number of times where we have tried to inspire development, good development. This is $17.5 million. There's 120 jobs. This is a piece of property. I don't know how the appraisals went before, but Anthony, that building that's sitting on there right now, and Paul, they are blighting influences on that property, on that entire corridor.
I don't
Those
disagree
things
with
have
that.
those things have got to come down, and in order to make the property worth anything to anybody. Right now, the senior center sits there. I mean, it's been broken into. It's been stripped of all of its copper. I mean, it's been stripped. I mean, there's antisocial behavior that goes on behind the building all the time. We're always rousting people out of there. This is a piece of property that sits up against the most heavily traveled coal line in the Commonwealth, maybe the country, leading up to the Lambert's Points Pier. So in order to get, this is not 2007. Things have changed. Some of the rules are. Cities are doing things, more aggressively in order to spur development. This is not $1 million. I'd much rather have $1 million. But I'm prepared to take this in order to make those jobs happen, to make this a piece of productive real estate development again for the city, of nearly $200,000 a year in additional revenue. We've been trying to make something happen here for 5-6 years now. We've had at least 2 RFPs to my knowledge, and a couple of independent. Mr. Marcel, I think I heard about that. His offer as well. But this is the only concrete.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
at this point in time, concrete proposal we've got that. I actually went to Bon Secours after this proposal came in and talked to Michael Kerner, the head of Bon Secours, who may or may not be here tonight. I said, "Are you serious about coming here?" Because I didn't want to go down this road and maybe write down the price of this property. I didn't want to go there unless we were very certain this thing was going to happen. And he's very certain. In fact, Anthony, you were with me when they were over at the thing the other day when the head of Bon Secours said maybe we'd like to double the size of this building. So there's a lot of good things that'll happen up and down the corridor if this project goes forward. I'd like to have more money, but in order to make this thing happen at the end of 2012, the administration's reviewed it. They're prepared to recommend it. I think we ought to move forward with it. Then I'm going to vote to support it. That's all. And I wish the design was such that the supermarket could sit up, closer to the street. But I understand why I don't think they can do that too because of this railroad.
All right, so I'm just going to speak. I guess have you talked to the developer about this? Has he presented to you, the developer?
I've talked with him about it. I haven't talked with him about. Yeah, I haven't got a presentation from him.
All right. A couple of things. I'm just going to go through this very quickly. I think it's prudent to know what the same developer offered previously because he obviously had the numbers were going to work then. And if he offered more then, why are the numbers not working this time? I don't understand that. And I think I'm disappointed that wasn't available to us today. Secondly, tell me what the average rents are in Ghent.
$17.56.
And so what are these rents? What are these rents going to be?
They are still in negotiations with those 2 tenants, but I would tell you that they are below that for the supermarket, and they are below that for the office space. There is a full-service lease that's being proposed.
How far below are you anticipating?
I would say on the office a couple of dollars a foot, and on the gourmet grocery store at least $2 a square foot.
So does that not make an impact on our area?
Well,
I
ma'am,
understand you're telling me the appraisals don't, But if you are renting businesses on the corridor and this is being undercut, is that not significant?
No, no, ma'am. Let me say that on the anchor grocery business, they will always come in at a number that's generally lower than what any other small tenant retail might be willing to pay. And there is 4,200 square foot of 3 bays of space that would be likely marketed at $17.56 or whatever.
But the office building will also be below the norm.
It is just a bit below the norm because, again, both of these users are unable or in this deal, in terms of the return on the investment that the developer was looking to make versus what they could pay. That's how we backed into the deal that we're presenting here this evening. The return on the income for the developer is not that high. For us, in terms of the return that we're getting on this $2 million value of the property, it's about 9.21% over 10 years. We'll be repaid in about 8.5 years on this project. Everything after that will accrue to our benefit.
Okay, I am just going to say, I don't understand why this site cannot be changed. And explain to me why we have to put up with a suburban, non-pedestrian corridor approach as they are showing us in this grocery store. Tell me why that, and if in fact we vote this today, and I'm also confused why we're voting today if it's being presented today. I thought that was the deal, that it was presented and then the next meeting we voted. So I'm not sure on that one either. But, okay, so am I voting today for that site plan?
No, ma'am. It still has to go through site plan review.
And so will I be voting on it later, the site plan?
They'll be working internally with us in terms of coming up with
I'm
a site
asking
plan.
if I'm going to be voting again.
No.
No, ma'am.
No, I don't think so. I think this is it. You can,
Okay, so explain to me,
Sure.
Paul, why this can't be changed.
Well,
Explain to
and
me.
I-
I'm willing to give this guy a deal,
okay.
but let's ask for a little something back.
I agree
Let's
with
make
Terry. I
this
brought that
good.
concern
But
up too, you know,
See
with
where it
her.
says Norfolk Southern Railroad back there?
Yeah.
Okay. If he brought the thing up to the street, well, first of all, the tenant, Fresh Value, won't come if it sits on the street corner, because they want the parking in front of them so their people can get out of their cars and walk into the thing so they can be seen from the street. If you, as a practical matter, if you brought the building up to the street, you would then have to have a facade that looked like it was made sense up on the street. So you'd have to have windows, you'd have to have some transparency.
So you have to make it look nice.
No, wait a minute.
Yes, we'd have to make it look
But
nice.
you'd also have to have a on the side where people were parking, which would then between the railroad and the building, you'd have to have another whole facade that looked like the front. And the loading for it would be right basically in the public's view.
I'm
on
asking
both
not
sides.
to have it necessarily flush on the street, but at least sideways. Bring it up to the corner. We asked Harris Teeter to do that. You go past Harris Teeter, they got windows all the way around it. Because we played hardball with them, and we said, if you want to come, build it right.
But the tenant-
Why
the
aren't
tenant
we
won't
playing
come.
hardball with this?
The tenant won't come.
Do you have a
It's
front
not-
view
it's
of?
not them.
Well, you could
this?
pull it to the
No.
side.
They
No, we
won't
don't.
come.
We just know that Fresh, the
Thank you. I mean,
gourmet grocery needs to
These
be back
people
here.
are,
Yeah.
they get to pick their sites.
Yeah, and then they get a good deal from us. And so-
you can see that the concern here is there's 36 cars in this picture alone. in
So
front.
Chuck, have you ever eaten at Pasha?
Yes, ma'am.
You sit outside? Yeah, and that truck goes, those trains go by, and
Yes.
it's absolutely glorious. I mean, it's great there.
But Teresa, in this particular case, it's not the developer, it's the tenant.
The tenant.
And the tenant will not come if he can't be positioned the way that he's positioned. Paul, I just want to say, I agree with everything you said, but I just want to say, for those deals you talked about, we were all in, we were in agreement.
I'm in.
What we had
I'm
to
in
do.
agreement.
Right. And so all I'm saying is that if this was one of those deals that, you know, we're doing to build up that corridor, then let's understand that from the offset. And if we had to give concessions on the front end or the back end or some type of performance grant, I understand that. But it should be where we understand it going in, that this is what we're doing. So, but we've never had, in any of those other deals, we never had 2 or 3 people that had been at the table before and then complaining, well, why, you know.
And I guess part of my concern about that, and just is that once they brought this deal to us, I think we said take it to the business association or You know, and the Business Association, by the way, is not opposed to this. In fact, despite at least one of their vocal members tried to get them to oppose it, and they would not do that. You know, is that once you get it out there, and it's almost like we took, then other people saw the deal and said, well, wait a minute, I can do better than that. You know, and I think that's a tough way to put the city in a position of telling a guy who brings you a deal. And we looked at his numbers, we think it makes sense. But then we say, all right, you got to take it out to the public. And then two other guys come in and say, I'm going to do better than that. And that's like trying to shop the deal once the deal has been put here. I mean, I really think that's difficult. That puts us in a difficult position. That's
Can you
that's
go
all.
back
And
to the design real quick, the
Before you
layout?
get to that, Tom, you know, that same, other developers who have brought the grocery store have said the same thing. They're
Right.
not gonna, they're
Right.
not, and maybe they could be a better way, and I'm all for it, but they are not.
Same thing happened at Ward's
The
Corner.
grocery store is not gonna come, they wouldn't do it at Ward's Corner. And
Would not
wouldn't do it
And I
at-
understand that, but again, in its historical, I'm supporting you on this, Terry, its historical value and nature, my concern is looking at, I from the street level, I would hate to drive by there and just see asphalt, and I know that there's trees there, but I mean, even a brick wall, you know, along the road that would kind of break up and with some trees around it. And I know I know that's not for us to meddle in here, but when we vote on this, we have to trust that it will, when it goes through design review, that they're going to make those suggestions, and I think our concerns should be heard. I agree with Terry that, you know, this area in particular, you don't want to see just asphalt, you know, and then a store. And I understand that that's what the tenant is looking for, but at the same time, you want to preserve this community feel and the look of Ghent and continue growing, because this is something that's going to be there for a very long time. And when you go out to Whole Foods and out in Virginia Beach and they've got asphalt, but you can't tell. That store is so classy looking, and that design, it almost doesn't even look like a store.
And Tommy, I think that's a great
So
comment.
we
And I
need to
think
get
our
on
design process can do that. And I
Frank,
think that they'll do something in front that will shield. We talked about that.
Do we have
In fact,
design
we
standards
had
for
a
that?
presentation of this project, yeah.
I mean,
We
is
had
that
this
in
whole
the?
presentation.
Yeah, I mean.
We didn't have the deal.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we did.
The
I know we
250?
Hold on, I asked
I think
Frank
you were
about
wrong.
design standards on that.
We
I
do
promise
not
you we
have
had this
specific design guidelines, but this will have to go through the design review process. The LDDC has written that the planning director has to review and approve the design. I've checked with Bernard, and that means I will be able to take this through that process and get their input from the design review committee. I heard what you said about the low wall. That is an issue I spoke to Chuck about, and I've talked to Ray Gindros. I think we can work through the design, and I would agree with you that something like a low wall to maintain the street face in combination with some plantings will help obscure that parking and will address both our goals as well as what Fresh Market has said they want.
I mean, even over at, on the corner of 21st and Colley, what is it, the Rite Aid, not the Rite Aid, one across. They put a wall in there. On the corner, you know, sorry. They put a wall in there to shield, to improve. I noticed that this weekend and I thought, well,
Where is
that,
that?
you know, the
Walgreens right there on the corner.
Walgreens, you know, the Walgreens.
Yeah, but the Walgreens is also on the street.
But it's back,
No,
it's not on College.
got
I mean, you're
But
looking
it's
at
got inside to it.
Yeah, that's all I asked for, was on the side, bring it up
She
to the
wants to
side.
turn that building.
Yeah, I didn't want it all the way up, I just said turn it. You could do that.
Well, when we talked
But
about.
I guess what I'm saying is, when Frank says that they're gonna do that, but if we're voting this, we don't have any safeguards that they accept that.
Yes, ma'am, we don't have to, if it's a design that we don't approve or like, we do have control over that.
But we don't, we're not voting it.
And I think we're telling staff what we want.
We do have, we've had Mr. Gindros out, take a look at it, and kind of talk about the character of the 21st Street area. how
I
it
was
might
just
be-
there today. What Robin Thomas has done across the street is really handsome. I mean, it is a really good-looking corridor. And they're anxious to have this store. I would love to have this kind of store. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, we only got one shot at this. And you don't do
I
it
think
right.
the community is overwhelmingly in favor of it.
I think they are too. And we all are. Everybody wants this. Robin Thomas's development needs this.
I know, and
I just am asking, please make sure that you're not just giving it away. You got a chance here. We're a good place to be here. These people want to come.
we're gonna have to go upstairs and
Who's Robin Thomas? So I can ask.
She's an
That's the
architect.
architect.
And where is
Okay.
she located?
Right,
Well,
across.
she's done that development there on 21st Street, across from, like up from the tap
From
house.
the tap house.
Used to be,
But
used to
the
be our
whole,
design review.
the whole time we've talked about it, whether it was a committee, I've not seen it all before, maybe. We had said that Ray Gendros has got to get involved and come up with some treatment on that street, be it a wall,
Especially right there.
a combination that fits in to the Ghent group. I mean, to the Ghent motif or the historical part. That's always been part, that's.
Wasn't presented tonight. It was not until we fought for it. So, I mean, I need those guarantees. And I will go ahead with this if you can guarantee this, but I don't know that I have those guarantees from you. And so I'm voting for this, and then you guys can say, well, yeah, we tried and it didn't work, so then what?
Is there anything that can force the design to come before us?
No, we've already seen the project. We had a presentation, saw the project, we looked at the
We don't have any
days.
wa- we
I
haven't
haven't
seen
seen
any
the
wall.
facade of it.
We have to, we said.
We haven't seen no
yeah, we
wall.
did.
Typically see, we
Seen
grilled,
it.
we talked a couple
We
of
have
times
sits
about
on the
this
site,
project.
we talked about, even Tommy, you made a question about the bay.
Right, that's right, I remember now.
We did.
Okay,
And
we
we're
did
gonna
have-
have
And I
about-
think I brought the
We're
wall
gonna
in.
have to go.
And Ray, you did, and Ray is gonna,
We're gonna have to go.
Is there anything that can cause it to?
Andy, you want to say
I'll go to
something?
it
For us? No?
we just have to have faith that our design review and our
What'd you
planning
say?
department are gonna do what we tell us.
Yeah, we got a great looking layout.
Terry.
Right.
Terry.
We don't vote on the